Hi everyone, this is Doug from Critical Hit Terrain. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to create a statue for your miniature wargaming models. And to do that, we're going to look at some of our needed supplies. First off, we're going to use these guys as the statue themselves. This is just a set of really cheap low-end action figures that I got at Walmart for I think $3.50. They're like knockoff G.I. Joes. So we're going to use those as the actual physical statues. Next we're going to need a base. So I'm going to use, this is a cap to a PVC end for water piping. You don't have to use this. I've seen it done with caps, lids, there you go, peanut butter jar, things like that. Just anything that you want to set them on. So I'm going to have my statue up on top of here. Then you're also going to need some flat black primer. I use Rust-Oleum. I like them. It's easy to work with. You don't have to though. It does have to be flat though, because you don't want it to be glossy. If you wanted to put a coat on the outside of it all, I recommend Mod Podge. It dries clear, matte as well. And obviously brushes. And lastly, your paints to actually paint the guy looking like a statue. Now this one is going to be your personal preference because I want mine to look gray with some white highlights. But if you want to have a more granite look, you can go for colors like that. Anyway, that one's completely up to you, but these are the ones that I'll be using in the video. I got gray, black, and white. And so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and skip to the first section, and we're going to talk about getting it all set up. So here what we've done is taken our action figures and I've put them in the pose that I want them to be in. And I've sealed them in that pose with our super glue. You can also use the Mod Podge coat, any kind of glue you want as long as it'll stick. And I got them stuck into the pose that I want with the guns in their hands. And our next step is to put them on the base. And our next step that we just finished is all we did was glue with our crazy glue our guys to our base. I chose to have them in a circular position as if all three were heroes. You could walk around the monument and check them out. And at this point, if you know that you actually see it, if there's a pose that you don't like, now's the time to fix it. Because once we get the primer, the paint, the Mod Podge for a coat on there, they're not going to be moving a whole lot. So like I see this guy's kind of leaning back a little bit. I'm going to lean him forward and then tack him back into place with glue. And that's probably the most important part for this step, is getting everything set. This is your last chance for a big change. Alright, so we just finished priming. As we can see here, we have our statue in pose. We have him all primed up. It's looking pretty good. Now the priming may cover a few minor details, but I mean, again, hopefully you bought a really cheap toy, so details don't abound anyway, so it's not really a huge issue. So what I'm going to do now is take a break, and after he's completely dry, which this one is, I'm going to start adding the colors that we want to use. To explain it to you simply, I'm going to be dry brushing a dark gray and leading up from there, getting lighter and lighter as I go into more and more detail. And in the end, he'll be looking like a statue. So what I'm going to do now is just show you a few pictures of kind of the process, because it would take way too long to do it actually painting on camera. So I'll show you my first layer, second layer, third layer, and so on. And then I will come back to you when we have our finished product and we can add some more detail. So now we've got our statue all set up. He's been primed, painted gray, and as you can see, I did a quick shade, which is just black paint and some water. So it wasn't very intense at all. I then did a highlight, so I did 2 parts white to 1 part gray, and then went over that with 3 parts white to 1 part gray. And each time I did a little bit of less. I really focused on the faces because that's just an awesome focus point for detail. I also, you didn't see it, but I kind of went along the base here and just whatever I had left on the brush, just kind of scratched the concrete, trying to get the base to somewhat match these guys. There's no detail or edges or anything like that on the base because it's just solid PVC. But I tried to give at least a matching tone and color. And so that's it. This is table ready. It looks fantastic. I love it. What I'm going to do personally is add some finishing touches, and what I'm going to do is get some glue, put it on the side here, and kind of make it a moss or a vine growing up the side. And you know, that's just my personal preference. You could do all kinds of things from this point. You could do graffiti. You could put it on a base that has like a fencing. That's up to you. I'm going to show you my own personal ending result, and I'll let you see what you think of it.